Before you buy a wireless dash cam, one thing trips up almost everyone. On most of these wireless means your phone connects over Wi-Fi to pull clips, not that the camera runs without a power cable. So you still plan for a power lead or a hardwire kit for parking mode. To land on these 5, I ruled out plenty that looked fine by day and turned plates into blur at night, or quit after a year. Some cover front and rear, one adds the cabin for rideshare, and price gaps are real. By the end, you'll know which fits your car. Let's get into it. Starting at number 5, the REDTIGER F7NP, a 4K front and full HD rear setup. And I'll open with the thing that trips people up. The wireless part here is your phone connection, not the power. This camera still runs off a cable, and if you want 24/7 parking protection, you need a separate hardwire kit on top of it. That's not in the box. So if you came looking for a camera you stick on the glass and forget about, this one asks more of you than that. But once you accept that, the rest of it holds up really well. The front sensor is a Starvis 2, which is Sony's low-light sensor, and paired with that wide aperture. It's the part that decides whether you can actually read a plate at night. That's where cheap cameras fall apart, and this one doesn't. Buyers keep coming back to the same point: plates readable in the dark, not just a blurry shape with headlights. And here's what one owner wrote: "I've had this camera almost 2.5 years now, and I've had to pull footage for police more than once. Each download took about 5 minutes on my phone. The insurance company never even asked me for a statement. The video was enough." That's the whole reason you buy one of these, not the spec, the outcome. One more thing worth knowing before you commit: it uses a supercapacitor instead of a lithium battery, so it handles a hot windshield far better than the cheap stuff. Though the suction mount is the weak part, several owners mention it losing grip when temperatures swing hard. The good news is support ships an adhesive mount that fixes it. So for a daily commuter who wants front and rear coverage and real night detail without paying premium brand money, this one earns the spot. Pricing and details are down in the description. Now, if the part you're unsure about is fumbling with buttons while driving, the next one takes a different approach to that. At number 4, the REDTIGER F7N Touch, and the quickest way to place it is next to the F7NP we just covered. Same brand, same wired power reality, same hardwire kit if you want the parked car coverage. That part doesn't change. What changes is how you deal with the camera once it's on the glass. This one has a touch screen and voice commands, so you can lock a clip or fire up the Wi-Fi with a tap instead of hunting through buttons while you drive. And it's physically smaller, which sounds cosmetic until you try to fit a camera behind the rear view mirror. Buyers keep bringing that up, that it tucks in without eating into the view. Same Starvis 2 sensor up front as the previous REDTIGER, so night detail sits in the same place. What do you give up? Polish, mostly. The voice control is the weak spot here, and this comes up in reviews more than once. The commands don't register consistently. Some people also find swapping the display back from the rear camera to the front more fiddly than it should be. The manual won't help you either. It names the menu items without explaining what any of them do. There's a review that stuck with me for a different reason. My camera ran without a single problem for almost 2 years, and then it just stopped. I contacted support, expecting to be sent off to a repair center, and instead a brand new unit showed up at my door the next day. That matters here because reliability is the one real question mark on this brand. A handful of owners report units power cycling and eventually dying, so knowing the 18-month coverage is actually honored takes the sting out of that risk. Bottom line, this is the REDTIGER for someone who plans to interact with the camera, pulling clips, locking events, checking footage on the phone regularly. If you'd rather set it and forget it, the fussy voice control will annoy you more than it helps. Pricing and full specs are waiting in the description. And what if you want to see your car while you're nowhere near it? That's the question number 3 answers. Number 3 on the list is the 70mAh A810 Lite, a 4K front, full HD rear setup, and this is the first camera in the video that gives you real remote access to your car. That's the headline, so let me be precise about it. The camera pulls clips to your phone over Wi-Fi 6 on its own, and that part is quick. But live view from anywhere, vehicle tracking, parking alerts on your phone while you're at work, that runs on 4G LTE, and it needs the UP05 hardwire kit plus a data plan. Same story as the previous 2 picks with parking mode. Extra hardware required. What's different here is what you unlock once you add it. Now the front camera. Buyers keep landing on the same thing, that plates come out readable day and night, and the HDR handles headlight glare instead of blowing the frame out. That's the part that decides whether footage is evidence or just a video. But the rear is where I'd set expectations. It gives you coverage. You'll see what happened behind you, though at night the plates go soft. If rear-end incidents are your main worry, that's worth sitting with. And the front record's at 24 or 25 frames per second, not the 30 you might assume from a 4K label, with a further drop when both cameras run together. Here's what one reviewer wrote. My first 70mAh from 2019 is still running perfectly in my other car. The bigger body on this one dissipates heat much better, which is what keeps a camera alive baking on a windshield all day. Heat is what kills these things, so that tracks. The A810 Lite uses a supercapacitor. Same reason. One thing that follows from that: no internal battery means it powers down with the engine unless you hardwire it. Bottom line, this fits the driver who wants strong front evidence now and the option to add remote monitoring later. Pricing and specs are sitting in the description. That said, front and rear only cover what happens outside the car. If people you don't know ride with you, number 2 is built for that. At number 2, the Vantrue N4S. And this one is built for a very particular driver. The person who has passengers in the car they didn't personally invite. Rideshare, delivery, a teenager borrowing the car, a work vehicle with a rotating crew. If that's you, pay attention, because everything about this camera points at that situation. 3 cameras run at once here. Front at 2.7K, cabin at 1440, rear at 1440, and all 3 use Starvis 2 sensors. Front and rear coverage tells you what happened on the road. The cabin camera tells you what happened inside, and there are infrared lights, so it still records faces in the dark. When a passenger dispute turns into your word against theirs, that middle camera is the whole argument. Buyers land on the night footage again and again. Plates stay readable, headlights don't blow the frame out, and the plate pick setting that sharpens plates actually shows a difference rather than sitting in the menu as a marketing word. And here's what one owner wrote: I spent a long time looking at cameras because I didn't want something that looked good on paper and fell apart at night. Front, rear, and inside in one system gives me a lot more peace of mind. The plate readability setting is not a gimmick. You can see the difference in real driving. Now the limits. Routing 3 cameras is a longer job than a single unit, and parking mode still wants a hardwire kit. Same deal as the earlier picks in the video. 2 things specific to this one though. The newer rear camera isn't waterproof, so plan an inside-the-glass mount before you buy. And running all 3 streams at top resolution demands a genuinely fast micro SD card. Otherwise you'll get slow card warnings. Budget for that card alongside the camera. It costs more than the pics lower down in the video, and the cabin channel is what you're paying for. If nobody else ever sits in your car, that money buys you a camera you'll only half use. Pricing and full details are down in the description. And number 1 is next. It doesn't take the top spot on cameras or resolution, but on what happens 2 years after you buy it. And taking the top spot, the Rove R2 4K Dual. It wins because it asks the least of you for what you get back. 4K up front, rear coverage, a phone app that actually works, and a company that answers the phone 2 years later. Let me start with that last part, because it's the thing that separated this one for me. Support keeps coming up in owner accounts, and not in a vague way. People describe real hardware faults, a camera that quit recording, a unit stuck on the loading screen, and the outcome is the same. A person replies, walks them through it, and ships a replacement. Several of those owners were past their warranty window and still got a new unit. In a category full of brands that vanish after the sale, that's the difference between a camera you own and a paperweight on your glass. The hardware backs it up. The front sensor is the same Starvis 2 family you've heard about in this video, with an f1.5 aperture pulling in light. GPS is built in, so speed and location get stamped onto the footage, and that's what turns a clip into something an insurer takes seriously. It also ships with a 128GB card, which is one accessory you don't have to go buy. Now, 2 things to square away before you commit. The rear camera record's at full HD, not 4K, so it covers what happened behind you without matching the front for fine detail. And the night vision marketing runs ahead of reality. On lit streets, it's strong. On genuinely dark rural roads, one detailed test found the low light detail close to nothing. If your commute is unlit, back roads, weigh that. There's a review that sums up the ownership side. I've had this camera almost 2 years and it just works. When the front sensor finally acted up, I emailed for help and got a reply in about 30 minutes from an actual person, not a bot. They decided it was a hardware fault and offered to replace it, even though I was outside the warranty. Parking mode still needs the hardwire kit, same as everything else here. But installation is where this one pulls away. Owners keep saying the whole job, both cameras, cable routing, and phone pairing. Took them around 15 minutes, with a trim tool in the box for tucking the wires into the headliner. So that's number 1. It costs less than the pics just above it in this video, and asks for fewer compromises than any of them. For price and details, you'll find it in the description. Now you've got the criteria, so you don't get burned by the first one that looks good. If you carry passengers you didn't invite, number 2 is the one built for that. But if you want remote eyes on your car later, number 3. And if you just want it to work for years with support behind it, number 1. Amazon prices go up and down. Check them in the links in the description.